There's a really interesting thing that happens when you start to reshape your beliefs. And I'll share a personal experience because sometimes the details get you and they sneak up on you. So for me, one belief that I've been reframing is that belief of scarcity, that there's not enough to go around. And that belief that I was replacing is that I always have more than enough, a belief of abundance. And so, interestingly enough, I always had more than enough, but just enough to scrape by. So I was instilling a belief, but not the one that I imagined. More than enough in my mind was like an extra 20 to 50K a month, in addition to everything that I was doing. But what I was realistically earning was an extra couple $100 a month. And that made it really difficult to save and to feel like I was making any progress. But I was bringing into fruition exactly what I was asking for, which is I always had more than enough, which ended up being just more than just enough. But what's interesting about that is you can reframe and reword your beliefs at any time. So the reframe that I did was I always have more than enough to provide my creative endeavors. I am always continuously expanding my financial sources of income, exponentially increasing my sources of income, continuing to grow, right? And that small change, it has a very different frequency than I always have more than enough. Because when you always have more than enough, then you always have more than enough. That might be $100 more, that might be $100,000 more, but you're not being specific. And the thing about the universe is that you need to continuously input the same product code, right? If you want a new car, make it the red Corvette that just drove by, a 2024. Instead of just saying, I want a new car, maybe the universe will give you a 2002 Buick that you actually don't want. Be specific with what it is that you want in life. And then by doing so, you'll be able to bring that into fruition quicker because your focus is that much more directed. And when your focus is directed, the next step becomes very obvious. And the funny thing about the universe is that it's infinite. So there is no limit to how many ways that thing can come into your life. If you think it needs to come from your job, then that's your belief and it will be solidified because it's a subconscious belief. But if you expand on that and you realize that the universe has an infinite amount of ways to do an infinite amount of things, you can surrender and allow that to come to fruition however it chooses to come. Not that you stop taking action, not that you give up the control completely, but you open up your mind to the possibility of all the other ways that it could happen. And in the same way that something horrible could happen tomorrow, something beautiful could happen. You just don't believe it yet. And once you reframe that belief, everything shifts in your life because reality operates within the bounds of your beliefs, but they're malleable. Enjoy. Have fun.